Hey, Wes, are you there? I'm looking for you. Is that you?
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, as good looking as ever. Well, as good as you get, but it is half. It's half audio, which is a good thing we're doing that because we look way better on audio. We figured that out. We talked about that earlier. So, but looking good, brother. How you been? Been good?
If I was any better, I'd be twins, my friend.
Yeah. We don't necessarily want that because I've been with you before and I bought you dinner. If you're twins, I can't afford it.
I remember having Diana Nightingale on, and when I said that, she kind of went, "No, no,
No.
not two of you."
Yeah, we don't want two of you. No.
Hurt my feelings a little bit.
I was chatting with her the other night about Christmas, and I should have reminded her that she owes you an apology for that you're still hurt. Next time I talk to her, I'll tell her.
I'm sure that the apology's in the mail, right?
Oh, it will be. You know it will be. So,
Hey,
well,
she's
good.
real. I'd rather get a real answer.
Yeah, she's real. I love her. She's a great lady. She's fun, man. She's fun. As all our guests. And as I speak, what a segue. We're like professional seguers, right? Not the writers
We
because they
are.
would fall off, but we have a guest today that is, it's just going to be fun. It's just going to be fun. If you don't want to be told how it is or hear how it is, or you can't handle a little sarcasm, y'all don't want to deal with Rob Anspach. That's for sure. So
That's right.
we
That's
think we
right.
should.
Tune away now.
It's too late. We got him on. I mean, he's in the back room. He's like itching to come. So I guess we probably should just quit talking to bring him. What do you think?
Let's bring him on.
Let's do it. We'll be right back, folks. There he is. I even got the name right. Look at that.
The backstage was so much nicer.
I understand. The view is better, right? Well, I fully understand. I fully understand. And why would I get any less than that from the doctor of sarcasm himself, right?
So quiet here.
I know. It's awesome. So
And
you're
you're
never
not
quiet.
you're not in your car today.
I'm not in my car today. I know. That's why I do these things from home now and record them because I have been. You met my producer buddy pal and sometimes bodyguard Wes Wyatt, and one of the reasons that
Oh yeah, the guy with perfect hair.
yeah, they got perfect hair, exactly, perfect facial hair too. Since he finally got rid of the other, that was always dyed with Just for Men or something he used. I know he hates when I say that, but anyway, that's what he did. But it's funny is if I didn't have Wes doing the stuff he does, who's he's spectacular at, I've had many a times from my car, from a hotel, even from my home office studio thing that we're like seconds, minutes away from when we were doing live shows instead of recording them. And I'm just like, I'm saying, you're not recording any of this early, right? Because I mean, I'm like losing my mind with technology because, I'm punching buttons. You just had that before we got on. I'm punching buttons and it's not coming up. And I'm looking at the little counter, right? Because when it's live, I mean, in a minute and 30 seconds, we're going live and I'm still not ready. And so that's one thing I like about recording too, is if I happen to say something we really shouldn't, it goes away. But also, if we're a little late, it doesn't matter, right? So, but with all that, what in the world, 30 plus book author? I mean, I got all these notes down that I remember, but publisher, speaker, script writer, master of sarcasm, the most important probably, and the host of eHeroes podcast. What am I missing? I mean, you're like a man of a million things.
Yeah, but I don't know any of them. So
Well, that's good.
you know,
This show is too, buddy. I got to work on my sarcasm.
it's just how I evolved over the years. I mean, I started my career owning a carpet cleaning business.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I don't know if I shared that with you when you were a guest on my podcast, but in 1995, I started a carpet cleaning business because I thought I could do it better. Because I had worked for somebody else, made a lot of money for them, and I thought I could do this. I'm going to make some money. First year, 3 years, I think I made hardly anything.
Yeah.
I was probably 2 seconds away from bankruptcy, and saw an ad in the paper. Hey, come to this convention in Arizona, learn how to market your cleaning business better. So I did. I took a chance. I took a leap of faith. And I soaked up marketing like a sponge.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I turned my cleaning business around. I ended up becoming probably the most expensive cleaning company in my town. And people started coming to me and say, Rob, I love what you're doing. Can you teach us? Can you do this? And so I started teaching marketing to other people. And now most of my clients are lawyers and doctors and high level entrepreneurs. They just want more out of life. And I only have a few carpet cleaners left as clients. And so I started this consulting business in 2001, just a few years after I started the cleaning business. So I've been doing this now for 20 years. I sold the cleaning business like 8 years ago. And in, I guess, 2012, I won an award. It was called That One Thing Award for this marketing piece I designed, which then got me a ticket to go to another marketing convention. And on the way back, I developed this idea to write this book. It was supposed to be the easiest social media book you'll ever read. And I shopped it around. Nobody wanted it. And I'm like, what? It's very easy. And they say, yeah, it's too easy. We want these thick technical books. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. This is what I designed. And so out of frustration, I created my own publishing company.
Okay, so that's how it started.
Marketed my own book, sold 2,000 copies right away. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And so my second book, I wanted to write it all about search engine optimization. And so I partnered with a guy up in Canada, Paul Douglas. He had his ideas. I had my ideas. I said, let's come together. And so from concept to creation to #1 bestseller in 4 countries took 60 days.
Wow.
So, and that book kind of positioned us to be these experts in search engine optimization. And we were getting clients left and right and all over the world. And then I wrote my third book, which was Lessons from the Dojo, which wasn't a commercial success, but I loved writing it. And it was that book that got a lot of other people to say, hey, Rob, help us with our next book. And so I've helped lawyers and doctors and speakers and wrote a whole bunch of mine, and now 36 books later.
Yeah, 36 books. And I love your Rob versus series, right?
Well, it started with this one, Rob versus the Scammers. And because, again, out of frustration dealing with Visa, MasterCard people calling you all the time, and then the fake IRS and all that. And so I just started wasting their time. And I put the stories in the books. And after the first one came out, people were like, wow, this is so funny. Write another. And so Rob versus the Morons, and Rob versus Humanity, and Rob versus the Entitled, Rob versus the Wackadoos, and Rob versus the Unicorns. And I have enough material for 2 more books.
Do you? Okay, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure once you get started, there's enough ding dongs to make fun of, and you could probably do this forever, right?
Oh, I could. I mean, and earlier in the year, I guess it was over the summer, I was approached to write a pilot episode for a future TV show based on the Rob versus book. So that's what we did. And so we're shopping it. And hopefully in January, we'll find a studio that's interested in moving forward for 2023. And so that's exciting. I mean,
that is exciting.
It's different.
Yep.
I wanted the concept of the show to be reminiscent of the 90s shows that were very prominent, like Seinfeld and Friends and Everybody Loves Raymond. It was like that family dynamic show that it was very sarcastic, but people appreciated that. And now all these shows today are just lame. Yeah.
Oh, I love those old shows. You have Seinfeld and what was his the producer Seinfeld had a big super show. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David.
Yeah, Larry David.
I mean, what I loved about Larry David's show was that he would say stuff to people that most of us want to, but didn't have the guts to say, right? And I remember one of them is like, and because I think of it sometimes when you're driving, if you or somebody else makes a mistake, which we all do, just give me the wave. Give me the, hey, I'm an idiot, I'm sorry, right? Give me the I'm an idiot wave, I'm sorry. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it and you don't give me the wave, and I'm not going to honk my horn and chase you, and maybe not quite chase you down, but that just, why can't you learn to give the wave? But see, his character in that show was he would just like go on for like the whole show about they didn't give me the wave. You got to give the wave, right? And I just love that kind of stuff. So that's good. So maybe in 23 we'll see your show, huh?
I'm hoping. I mean, it's, usually they say it takes 2 years once you
Okay.
submit a proposal before it gets anywhere. And so if it's not 2023, it's 2024, but there's got to be at least a year of making the show and writing everything. And so it's going to take time. I'm trying to be as patient as I can, although I wanted the show to be created 6 months ago. So,
Oh, sure. Well,
yeah.
that is exciting. That's exciting.
So again, it's the evolution of who I am to where I want to go, and I think that a lot of people get stuck in what they're doing for the rest of their lives. And for me, it was never about the shiny object. It was about making common sense out of things,
mm-hmm.
learning how things happen, marketing, and getting people just to be entertained. And I've read a lot of great books, but the Rob versus books make people laugh,
Mm-hmm.
and people can see themselves in those situations. And they're always saying, I wish I had the cojones to do what you do.
Oh, exactly. Wes has got some of them up on the screen, and
Yeah, I mean,
I've got
the early ones were all about life lessons, SEO,
mm-hmm.
and then the Rob versus series. And then as you go through, I helped write a book on podcasting, and then helped a doctor with his weight loss books, and they were pretty exciting. I mean, and then I helped a lawyer with his books, and so yeah, it just the Shaping the Battlefield right now. They're great books from Jocelyn there, and it's her, teaching the next generation of lawyers how to do military law.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's not all the books are on there because some of them I had to ghostwrite for others, so I didn't get the credit, but I helped them get credit.
Sure.
Okay.
So interesting. A big love that I have is I'm in the world of sales, but as we all are. But I define what I do as sales, but marketing ourselves. Wes has a podcast, Market You First, which he talks a lot about. We got to market yourself first. It's like in people talk about you should pay yourself first, right?
Right.
And you should market yourself first. So because you're a marketing guru, how important for people that don't get it? Because I think there's a lot of people that think business just happens. They think, well, I got the best product, or I got the best service, or I got the best price, or maybe I have the triad of all three, that everybody's just gonna, well, I'll put a shingle out front, right? Or the old shingle, I'll open the doors and everybody will buy. But that kind of doesn't work if you don't tell people what you do and what you have, and pretty regularly, right? So let me shut up and tell me about why people need to be interested in marketing.
Well, the whole the phrase "build it and they will come" doesn't work. It's only in TV or only in the movies, and so you really, for me, and it took me a while to understand this. My personality is my brand. Right. When I share stuff on social, people know who it is. They know, oh my God, that's Rob. Yeah, it's got to be. And it's not about a logo, because nobody cares about your logo. It's not about your fancy little mission statement. It's about you as the individual. And people are, I think that annoys people sometimes, because especially lawyers and doctors, because they've gone to school, they've gone, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is. And now they're working for this big hospital, but they still have to market themselves individually. And the hospitals are like, no, you have to follow this. You can't do this. And the doctor's like, yeah, but I want my little own website because I want people to know who I am. Because if I, for whatever reason, if I don't work here anymore, I need to, people need to know where to find me. And a lot of hospitals are curtailing some of their their doctors from individually marketing, which is terrible.
Right.
You know, for me as a marketer, you know, you always hear that expression, you know, the cobbler's kids don't have shoes because he's always working for someone else.
Right.
For me, I always keep my marketing planned out a year to 2 years ahead. Like today, I was just writing emails for all of 2023. I put out a weekly email. And so I was crafting all those, getting them done. And so I don't have to worry about emails for the next year. I mean, it's all done.
Right.
So
Right.
but as far as I'm marketing my stuff every single day, I put that same attention into my clients. I keep all their social media content created, and then I pop it in a scheduler, and it's already done. You know, you have to do it that way.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I love getting on podcasts. I love entertaining people. But I don't like standing there every day and typing out stuff.
Right. Right.
You know, so you have to put a limit on who you are, what you do, and how you deal with certain people. And the whole key is marketing to that right person who wants your message, who wants to buy from you. And I think for a lot of people that is tough because they don't have this ideal avatar in their brain of who they want to deal with. You know, before we got on here, we were talking about who I triggered today.
Hey.
And I'm gonna tell you who I triggered today, is I actually put out a post about why it's important not to do free consultations, and that upset a lot of people. And I said you need to charge for your time because one, you're going to attract the type of person who really wants you. You're going to eliminate no shows, and you're always going to get paid for your time. And a lot of people are like, well, no, you got to give free consultations. That's what everybody else does. I said, yeah, but you're not trying to be everybody else. You're not trying to, you know, run your business like everyone else. You're trying to compete on yourself, but be better than yourself every single day. And a lot of them just didn't get that concept. They say, well, if you don't get this sale, you'll make it up on the next one. I'm like, yeah, but what if you don't get 50 sales? Are you going to take that and charge the next guy 50 consultations?
Right.
You know,
Right.
You just can't do that. And they're like, well, Rob, you can't do that in this field, in this field. I'm like, you know, I'm going to give you an example. I had a client who's a travel agent, and you might not think travel agents can charge for their time because usually when they book a travel, they get paid a commission. But typically that commission gets paid after the person has done the travel. So if that person books with you and they don't take that travel for the next 6 months, guess what? It's going to take 6 months to 9 months before you get that money.
Right.
So you charge a consultation fee, or you charge a VIP premium upsart, you know, like a concierge fee. So I got this travel agent to start charging $5.99 as a concierge fee. And so now these people feel like they're getting premium service. They got the travel agent's phone number constantly. They can text her anytime they want. The travel agent is now making money up front, making money on the back end, and they've tripled their sales.
Really? Wow.
And it sets them apart from every other travel agent out there.
Well, exactly. And because if you're always giving free everything, there's a lot of people, I don't know what percentage, but a lot, that will only take the free stuff.
Right.
If you know, and it's like you know, apps, anything. You know, if the free apps are probably worth exactly what they're probably charging for, right? But there's a lot of people that will take your free consultation just to suck whatever little bit of information they can get, and they're never going to come back. So all you're doing is wasting that time that could have been with a true paying client, right?
Right.
Yeah. Makes
and,
perfect sense.
and it's you know, lawyers are starting to do it, dentists are starting to do it, you know, but it's that oh, we've always done it this way, so we're not going to change. Well, if you always do it that way, you're going to get the same results you've always gotten, which is poor.
Right.
So in order to elevate who you are as the authority, charge for your time.
Right.
And it's very foreign, that concept, to people. And they're afraid. They're afraid to do it, or they've tried it once, it didn't work, so they're not going to try it again. Well, I've always been in this person who tries different things constantly. And I know it works because I do it. A lot of my clients are doing it, and it's not the norm. But
Right.
you know, when you've come to me and say, Rob, I'm so frustrated because I can't get anybody to buy my service because I just run through the motions of these free consultations all day long. Charge. Oh no, I can't do that. Nobody else. Charge, but they don't.
Right. Well, wouldn't and again, I'm just simple math, but just listen to you say that. If you do 6 free consultations a day for free, again, free, you're probably going to get 0 out of them historically. Aren't you better off to have done 1 paid consultation? Because my guess would be, like with your travel agent, if I'm paying her $5.99 up front, I'm probably going to use her.
Right.
Right. But like you said, if you just give me a free one, I'll talk to you for the half hour. And like I said earlier, I'll just suck whatever you give me.
Yeah.
And make a bunch of notes. And then I'm never going to call you back, because if I'm going to call anybody, I'm going to call the next guy for another free one. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes I agree. And it's hard because I think so many people battle with what you just said. If you've always done what you always did, you always get what you always got, or there are different variations, but it's very right. Now, I suppose if it's really, really, really working, maybe you ought to continue it, maybe, right? But most of the time it's not working, or it's not working as well as it should. And you also establish yourself as somebody maybe I ought to work with, right? The professional, the expert. Right. If I'm going to charge for this, I'm just giving it to you for free. Again, in my mind, free screams not worth a lot, because that's sort of the definition of free, right? And I think you create that subconsciously, even if it's not conscious, right?
Right. Well, I think a lot of marketers, and not just marketers, entrepreneurs, talk themselves out of a lot of things subconsciously, and or we get sucked into negative comments that other people have given us, especially reviews. Early on, had I looked at all the negative reviews that I got from books, services that I offered, or whatnot, I think the average person would just give up.
Right.
And when I shifted from creating educational books to more sarcastic books that bring you into the moment and allow you to laugh and learn, just like this one, I had shopped it around. 95% of the people loved it. 5% said, well, Rob, it's just a book of stories. I don't see the humor in it. This is not really a book. Had I listened to that 1 or 2 people, the book would have never happened. The whole series would have never happened. And I think as entrepreneurs, we need to have thicker skin. We need to realize that if you have a vision, continue with that vision, regardless of what other people say.
Yep.
I do. I think we get it into our heads that, oh my God, what if that person doesn't like it? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Move forward.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's funny as you say that, because so many times I think and I don't know why we do this, but we listen to the wrong people, and the wrong people typically that we're listening to are the ones that haven't done it, aren't doing it, and probably, using bad English, but ain't gonna do it either, right? So why do we take anything from that? I mean, that'd be like me listening to a guy that goes, you should never be on social media. That's stupid. all that podcasting, that's all stupid. Or I listen to what Rob, that does it for a living, does it well, does it all day long, tells me, right? There's a big difference.
Here's the thing, is that I'm not in a suit. I don't have fancy hair. I don't, I'm not perfect looking. But I come to you every single day in my real, raw looks. It's right. It's me. It's my personality. It's who I am. It's all that in a package that most people can live with. You know, I've just never been one of those types of people that show up in a suit. To me,
Right.
that's not me. It's not who you're going to meet. It's not the guy that's going to shake your hand in the airport.
Right.
You know, and I think that has to be the same on social as it is in real life. When people meet you, they need to see the real you. They need to understand the real you.
Yep.
The stories that you share in your books need to be the same. You know.
Yep. I agree.
And,
I agree. That. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it just to me there's a lot of phonies on social media, and a lot of people are just so nice on social, and then you meet them in real life, and you're like, you're different on social.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love what you just said about showing up on social the same way you'll show up in person, right? They need to see the real Rob, right?
Mm-hmm.
The real Randy, the real Wes, the real whoever, because it's a combination, right, of social and in real life, in person to person, and especially in the world of sales where I'm at. I'm going to see these people at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I want them 3 seconds in first recognize me when I walk in the door. Oh, you're that guy that does all that social media stuff and talking when you're walking and that podcast, and oh, you're that guy, right? And but also I want them to feel like we're long lost best friends, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you've seen 4,000 posts from me. You know exactly who I am, what I think, how I say it. But the other thing you hit on, I thought was really interesting, and maybe touch on a little more is you said raw and organic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're talking about. But if you don't normally wear a suit, why are you putting a suit on in to do a podcast, right? Why do you get with this? Anybody can go lease for the day, $300,000 car and stand in front of somebody's mansion, right? But is that real? 99% of the time, probably not.
Right.
So why don't you just talk about what you can do and who you are, and I love that concept, because I think about it, I can't remember the name of it. I sound really smart, and you're going to know because you're doing you're going to the little tube or the big tube, man. But the little clapper thing that they used to use in movies, right? Whatever that thing's called, and it's nobody looks for that nowadays in marketing, right? Nobody wants to see this perfect scripted, 9 writers, 8 directors, and a whole bunch of gaffes and gophers and all these people. I don't even know why I know those names, but they don't want that, right? They just want to see Rob or Randy talking about, I don't know, I read this cool book today. I thought I'd share it with you, right? I mean, that's what people want, right?
Yeah. And the thing is that we have these. Why don't we use them the way they're supposed to? We have a camera on there. Record your thoughts. Put them on. People are like, well, Rob, I don't look good. Neither do I. But I've made thousands of videos.
Yep.
I've interviewed hundreds of people on my podcast. I don't care what you look like. Get yourself out there. Expose your personality to others. Granted, I always put a lot of stuff on YouTube, but the younger generation is going to TikTok. Okay, I resisted TikTok for a little bit. I try to record a video every single day, and I put it on TikTok. I share it to Instagram. I put it on YouTube. Now my YouTube numbers are growing. My TikTok numbers are growing. People on Instagram are saying, hey, Rob, I've gone to your website. I bought your book. You're great. It's just opening up an avenue that wasn't there before.
Right. Well, and what you're doing too, that I think makes sense with that, because I've got to do more with TikTok. I was doing the 79 days of commitment series I was putting all those up on TikTok. I'm not a lover of it, even though I do find some of it kind of funny and interesting at times. But the point is, I think you just hit on it. I love is you have to go where your audience lives.
Mm-hmm.
And in my world, LinkedIn works great for me because I'm a B2B guy, even though that's not really true. That's the nature of my business, but you're still a P2P or an H to H, right? People, human to human, right?
Mm-hmm.
But LinkedIn works well for me as a manufacturer rep, right? To go to the businesses. But I also realized that those same people are on Facebook, they're on all the other social platforms. But more importantly, the guys my age that are maybe buying my product today, 3 years from now, it's going to be gift to this 32-year-old kid or the 21-year-old kid. And I want them to know me as well as their old man knows me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not going to find me on LinkedIn because they don't even want it. They don't go there. So I need to go where they live, right? And I think that's vitally important to be cross-platformed, if you will. I just made that up. You can use that. You can send me a check if you sell a book because of that. But I think you need to do that, because unless you want to isolate your audience to one specific, because let's face it, Facebook is becoming less of the young people and more our age-ish and above, right? So if you want those young people, you better go where they live. And I think
I'm not a big fan of Twitter, although, since Elon Musk bought it, I do dab my toe into it now more frequently, although I do have a lot of my stuff auto-posted to Twitter. I'm not going to engage in much conversation over there. And I think with social, everybody that's listening needs to pick a platform and be good at it. Mm-hmm. There's no sense in being on 15 different socials if you're not going to have time, nor the patience to deal. So if Twitter is your favorite, be on there, command it, own it, and as you say, love it. I over the last year, I think I've gained 3,000, 4,000 fans on LinkedIn. That's where my tribe is. Facebook is that kind of that older tribe that's been with me for the last 10 years since I got on Facebook. And so they followed my progress. They know who I am. They're comfortable with me. LinkedIn is this new thing. Not really new, but newer people coming there every single day. LinkedIn is still not into sarcasm. I think there's a lot of people there that are still, on the PC fence because they work for somebody. Although some do laugh at my jokes. I get, when I share out my Rob versus stories to Facebook, I just get a huge audience that are saying, give me more, this is funny. So yeah, you have to understand where your audience is coming from.
Right. Exactly. And so I know, because I follow you post a lot.
Sorry.
I know. It's like driving by a bad wreck. You don't want to look, but you do.
You gotta look.
Rob's out against. Crap! I don't want to look at this, but I got to, because this might be funny. But you're on a lot, and I find, not probably as much as you, but I'm probably 5, 6, 8, 10 times a day. Sometimes I'm on with something. Talk to me about your thoughts. I think I know where they are, but we've sort of touched on it. But a term I like to use sometimes I'm talking to anybody that's interested in it is visibility equals opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. And I found that back when we were talking about it at a couple recent trade shows I was at. It tells me it works because I had people that made an effort to come up and say hey to me and introduce themselves. That they said, we don't know each other, but I follow you. I like some of the stuff you do, and I just wanted to say hey. Mm-hmm. So what is it, 10x, 100x, 1,000x of people that wouldn't bother to come up, but they just so my point of all that is, does anything happen with that one particular guy? Let's say maybe never. But the point is, the visibility is always going to get you more opportunities that you don't have to always go look for. Maybe they come to you, right? Because they see you.
Well, to visibility, yes. And this is why I always tell people, look, I'm losing my voice here. Let me take a quick drink.
I'm drinking my bubbly, cherry bubbly.
Your bubbly, huh?
My Michael, as we'll call him.
With visibility, always post, continuously post. And I don't care if you get 0 likes, 0 comments, always post. People are going to look at your stuff. I have people that contact me all the time. Hey, Rob, I saw your stuff. Oh, well, you didn't like it. Yeah, I don't do that stuff. So there are lurkers, and lurkers will, in essence, become your best clients because they like your stuff. They just don't want to comment. They don't want to engage. They don't want to get other people to see that they're lurking. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You're visible everywhere. If you're going to be on Pinterest, if you're going to be on TikTok, if you're going to, wherever you are, just keep doing that. When I travel a lot, and it just seems like every time I go to Dallas, someone in the airport, Rob, and I'm like, it just happens.
It just happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in San Diego one time, Rob, and I'm like, got like 3,000 Robs,
Yeah. Everybody's looking. Yeah.
It's your visibility online equals opportunities everywhere. And here's the thing is that even if people don't like you and they argue with you, you can take that argument and turn it into your own book.
There you go. There you go.
You look for the opportunities everywhere. Had I not started sharing these stories out, it would have never been a book.
Right.
And speaking of books, if any of you have podcasts, turn your best podcast episodes, have them transcribed, turn them into a book. You only a typical transcription is so many pages. But this book is only 150 pages.
Right.
So, you take some of those transcripts and you could just take highlights, you could take the whole thing, you could whatever you wish to do. But now it becomes that physical piece that you can hand to somebody. And instead of giving them a business card, you hand them a book. And they're like, wow.
Right.
And it's a conversation, yes, and it's in the book. But when they meet you after reading this book, they know who you are. They know your personality. They love what you're doing. And so when they meet you face to face, it's like having that conversation all over again.
Right.
So
it's like
look for the opportunity.
Right. Look, it's like meeting up with that old high school friend you haven't seen for 4 years, and you literally start talking where you left off. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just had my 35th high school reunion the other day. And,
oh, you're old. Holy crap.
I
you okay?
Old.
Do you need to
I
take
was
a break?
thinking about getting a walker. I was thinking about taking a nap too, but
I understand.
But yeah, it was weird because it was like the same conversations I had 35 years ago.
Yeah. You know what I noticed the last one I was at, which was, I think the last one I was at was 40, so that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Dirt wasn't even invented then.
What's that?
Dirt wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No, it was just a slab of ice back in the Ice Age. But I remember walking in, and the two things was funny, Rob. First one, it's seriously, I seriously walk in, and I know it's the right spot, and there's a bunch of people. I'm going, who are all these old people? Right. But you think about it, many of them, if they didn't make some of the different reunions every 5 years or whatever you do, a lot of people, maybe it's their first 1 or 2 or 3. People do change over 40 years. Mm-hmm. But then the second one is funny. There's one girl sitting there. She goes, we're old people. And she goes, I think that's Randy Chaffee. Oh, I think that's Randy. And so she gets up and walks. Oh, Randy, hey.
That's how I was. Everybody remembered who I was.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
who are you?
Yeah, you weren't in my class.
Yeah. So she gives me this big hug, and I'm like clinging as a buddy of mine that I played ball with, and I'm doing this, like mouthing this, who's this? And I'm going, I know him pretty well. He's probably 50-50 chance he's going to give me the wrong name just to mess with me. But luckily he gave me the right name. But when I stood back and said her name, I said, yeah, I'm going, boy, because zero possibility. We could have sat with each other next to each other at the Applebee's having a Cabernet and a dessert, and I would have never knew who she was. It's but it's funny. But so you've been kind with your time, and I know as I've mentioned, I got to get to UPS or I'm in big trouble. What have we missed today that people, we didn't talk about we better go back quick. You're the host of eHeroes, and we kind of chatted on that, and you had me on from my car. We weren't in a car together. That would have been interesting if we would.
We're old man.
Yeah, we were not. Yeah, we were not going overly out of sync there. But your eHost series or eHero series is they're out there all the time, and they're always good. Tell me just a little bit about that.
I started eHeroes in January of 2018, so almost 5 years ago. And I was looking at all these different podcasts, and I had written this book on podcasting, and I'm thinking I need my own podcast.
Yeah.
And so I created this, and it was just me interviewing brilliant people. And
then Randy.
and there's I think I just recorded the 234 5 something episode.
Nice.
And so I put these out every single week. Now, after the 33rd episode, I thought, who's watching this shit? It's like, and do I want to continue to do it? And so I took 5-6 months off. And then people were like, Rob, where's your podcast? I haven't seen it for a while. I'm like, oh, okay. I need to do a better job. So now what I do is I batch record like 8 or 12 of them at a time. And then I schedule them out. And I've been doing that way for many, many years. But, I just find that the last 100 episodes, I've been getting brilliant people on the show. I mean, people are like raising their hand, hey, Rob, have me on your show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's like effortless now. And then
right.
the first 100, I'm like, be on my show. Come on.
Exactly.
But it's just like this show where I was just interviewing people, we're having a fun conversation. And I just wanted it to not be the typical, hey, I'm going to give you 10 questions and this is, the answer. No, wherever the conversation goes, it goes. And and I thought, do I want cursing? I'm like, I can't control them. Whatever it happens. But it's now on like 24, podcast platforms. I put the video on YouTube. The audio goes everywhere.
Right on.
And and it's great for SEO because now if someone types in Rob Anspach, all my podcasts show up, my books show up, everything.
Right. Oh, exactly. Exactly. Well, it's very good. And so anybody watching, catch Rob on eHeroes. It's good. Really catch the one show that he had that really idiot guess me in my car, but I had a good signal.
It was a good show. Yeah.
I thought it was a great show. We had a great chat and I enjoyed it. And, it's also, I talk about this a lot. I love what I do and do what I love. Right. And I do. I love my rep agency work. I love my customers. I love the industry. I love being at trade shows. I love everything I do. But the podcasting and the guesting on podcasts, hosting and guesting, the social media stuff that I do, I believe, number one, and I'll scream it from the top of the mountains, if you will, it makes sense. It makes big sense, and you got to be doing it. But, the biggest part, I just love it. I just enjoy. It's my hobby because I don't golf.
And here's the flip side of having a hobby is that you're providing all this brilliant content for the next generation to learn from. So, we might say it's a podcast, but it's also an audio legacy that we're leaving to the next generation to learn from. So, right. I don't want them to be automatons, these little programmed robots I want them to have a personality. I want them to have sarcasm. I want them to understand that shiny objects will kill your business. I want them to understand that charge for your time.
Right.
And all these podcasts help them understand that. But they're like, well, Rob, I know you have a book, but is it on audio? Yeah, go listen to my podcast.
Yeah. Well, the last thing, because I remember you talked about it once. I think you posted it. Anybody that would be interested in me and on your show to reach out or something once. But I love what you just said about questions. As we talked about, I have no questions. I know you don't have questions. I don't sit and do a Larry King because I'm not that good, and I don't want to be Larry King, even though I do like his suspenders actually. But with that said, one of the biggest things, I'm digressing now, but one of the biggest reasons that I got in better shape years ago than what I used to be was because I wanted to wear a suit with suspenders. And I just think they look cool, and they look way cooler when they go somewhat straight down instead of like
the one color suspenders or the Mork from Mork suspenders.
I like them all. I like them all. I think I'm going to go to bow tie next, but we got a guest that's that we recently did a podcast with that wears a bow tie, and I think that's cool too. But anyway, but the idea of questions, and I've had a couple times where people said, "Well, can you send me some questions?" I'd rather not. I didn't go quite to the point of saying no, I wouldn't. I'll give you a couple ideas if you really want them, but I'd really rather not. And I've had people ask me, do you want us to send you some questions? I said, not really. Because if you're going to have me talking on probably sales, marketing, or occasionally maybe what I do with more of the hybrid version of doing some of this stuff, right, that we're doing today, if I can't talk for 30, 40 minutes about it, I'm the wrong guest. Number one. And number two, I'm an ab libber. I don't do this canned. I mean, I can't sit here with this and you say, so Randy, second question, when did you start? Well, I started, Rob, no, wrong line, right? No, I'm just going to ramble on about what I do. And because you know what, and then we'll get out of here. What we talked about earlier, if I make a sales call on you, I'm going to tell you right now, buddy, this is what you get. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this and you love everything I have as far as product, but you don't like this, I'm sorry. This is what you're getting, right? But I think that people like that genuine, raw, organic, whatever terms you want to use. And you are that, my friend. And I love the sarcasm. Love it. I remember when I thought I was going to be on your show, we had chatted back and forth quite a bit via, Messenger and whatever. But I thought, is this guy going to be just
an asshole
jerk? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm the host. I'm trying to be nice, but it's funny is one of the friendliest, nicest guys I've ever met. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I was sarcastic. I didn't mean any of
that. And I've gotten that too before. I've been in conversations where I've interjected myself and a guy's like, Rob, you're an asshole. And then, 15 minutes later, we're best friends. Hey, you know what? You just got to be you.
Exactly. Be you. And that's what people want at the end of the day, right? Because they buy you. And that's one of the things with a podcast that Wes does, Market You First. Talks about marketing yourself first. And I operate under
here's the thing is that, all my clients who have dealt with me, they know that I'm very sarcastic, but they know at the end of the day, I have their back.
Yep.
And I will never do anything against who they are, what they believe in, or, yes, I will make you laugh and I will get your marketing done and I will probably exceed your expectations. But you better like sarcasm because that's what I'm going to deliver.
Exactly. Love it. And you've delivered well today. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. And that's it. Let's get out of here. Unless you got something else. Any parting words?
No, just be sarcastic.
Just be sarcastic and buy your books. I mean, we should.
Yeah, if you want to buy my books, that'd
buy
be a plus. Yeah,
that'd be a plus. We'll love it. All right, my friend. Cheers. Thank you. Bye now, Rob, the one and only Anspach Media, and just $36. And I'll tell you what, I've got 3 or 4 of them. I should have had them here with me, but I've been told it's impolite to get up and leave the show to go get something in another room, but I've got several of his books. I'm going to do a book recommendation I'm doing every week on them shortly. But great stuff. Follow Rob, reach out to Rob. If you can use him for anything, I mean, he's the real deal. I can tell you that right now. So that's it for today. What else? I've already told you love what you do what you love. You know that. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say live it, love it. And the big part I'm on this right now, I'm on an own it thing, right? I'm on an own it thing because I've been finding myself getting irritated about things that I don't need to get irritated about. And so I'm really learning to just own it, even if it's not my fault, take it because I can adjust my mindset and move on or get sarcastic about it, whichever. But anyway, that's it. We're going to get out of here. And as always, make today your best day ever. Till tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.